Krystal, what are you taking a look at?
Well,
And where are you going to school? Oh, I'm not actually. What do you mean you already graduated? No. Oh, so where are you going? I'm not. Oh, you're taking a gap year. Nope, I'm not going. I don't think I understand. So you are taking a gap year? Nope, I'm not going to college, just not doing it. Oh, trade school? I am not going to school. Oh, so you already got your degree. I'm just not going to.
so we have taken a look here at all sorts of pandemic work and life trends. Quiet quitting, unionizing, the great resignation, remote work, et cetera, et cetera. Now we've got new data on another trend that is on the rise among Gen Z, and that is opting out of college. A new Newsweek article does a deep dive into the trend, which, like all of these other trends we've discussed here, really came to the forefront during the pandemic. And it's not just a TikTok hashtag either. Here are some numbers behind it. The percent of Zoomers even considering four-year college has dropped to just 51%. That is a 20-point decline since May of 2020. About a quarter of the class of 2022 says they've, quote, changed their post-secondary school plans since the start of the pandemic. Overall, college enrollment is down about 10 points, with the trend even more pronounced among poorer students. Now, in some ways, this decision is entirely logical. College costs are insane, as we've, of course, been covering here. Per Newsweek, the typical graduate of a four-year university is going to walk into their first job with $26,000 in debt. And all too often, that college degree, which was supposed to promise a stable middle-class life, is falling far short of expectations. According to a Georgetown University study that was cited by Newsweek, about a third of the nation's colleges leave students high and dry, earning less after obtaining their degree than the typical high school graduate 10 years after graduation. Somewhere around 40% of college grads are underemployed. That means they're working in jobs that do not actually require a four-year degree. And while Newsweek cites a study showing that the college wage premium, the extra income degree holders can expect to earn above their high school educated peers, they show that that has been growing. Other research indicates that college is not garnering the promised return, if any at all. The St. Louis Fed actually made waves with the 2020 report that in terms of wealth, a more meaningful indicator than income since it takes into account the massive debt students have to take on in order to obtain that degree, in that area, college was failing. They write, among families whose head is white and born in the 1980s, the college wealth premium of a terminal four-year bachelor's degree is at a historic low. Among families whose head is any other race and ethnicity born in that decade, the premium is statistically indistinguishable from zero. So basically, if you're white, which America is a rough proxy for affluence, college probably gets you a small bump in wealth. If you're non-white, you are likely no better off going to college than skipping it altogether. This represents an astonishing betrayal of young people, and especially young black people, who were uniformly sold on college as a surefire path to success by neoliberal politicians from Clinton to Bush to Obama. Now listen, I am not suggesting that these Zoomers are all out here reading economic analyses from the St. Louis Fed and performing complex calculations about their expected lifetime wealth generation. But they had a whole lot of time during the pandemic to look around and think about their lives, the world, their place in the world. They could see their brothers, sisters, and friends who were graduating college into a COVID recession, or who had gotten that college degree just to find themselves making someone's coffee at Starbucks or fetching someone's package at Amazon, jobs that they could have jumped right into out of high school and not taken on that massive load of debt. The pandemic also took a lot of the shine off the college experience. What did college really amount to once it was just Zoom classes with a bunch of strangers on subject matter that seemed disconnected from their daily lives? And like everyone else, young people were jolted out of their normal routines of classes and homecoming and SAT prep and had a lot more space to think about what their actual priorities in life might be. Days that were more empty and more anxious prompted a reassessment of whether they were really down for that lifetime 24/7 grind set that we've all been sold on since birth. Maybe checking the societal achievement boxes wasn't everything after all. But I don't want to sell this trend like it's just a straightforward positive. The picture is complex, even though in general I do think it will be better off for society if we reconnect with values and priorities outside of whatever it is we do to pay the bills. First of all, that college has become so expensive as to be not worth it in some instances, that is clearly a bad thing. Public college, community college, and trade schools should be free to anyone who wants to attend so that students graduating high school have the full range of possibilities and choices ahead of them. Second of all, It's not just college Zoomers are increasingly opting out of college. There's been an increase in young people who are neither in college nor working in a traditional job. Between 2019 and 2021, the number of young people who were not in school or working increased by 1 million. Young men seem to be opting out of both work and school in the largest numbers. In 2019, 12.4% of young men were not in school or working. That percentage has increased now to 16.7%. Our guest today might have something to say about this trend, as he is raising the alarm about a crisis among young men when it comes to schooling and societal disconnection. Now, these trends also coincide with a massive spike in mental health issues among young people as well. A third of high schoolers self-reported, quote, poor mental health during the pandemic. And those reporting persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness have spiked nearly 20% in a decade. So how many of the Zoomers who are opting out are not doing so out of a self-aware, affirming life decision and reprioritization of values, but just because they're really depressed, adrift in a society that no longer offers them a certain path to either financial success or to basic fulfillment? Because that's the real problem, right? The issue isn't that Zoomers are making different choices. It's that there are no good choices to make. Graduate high school into listlessness and economic insecurity, or graduate college with a mountain of debt and possibly still face the same bleak landscape. Either way, the basics of the American dream, the good life, the house, the family, the career, those all are seeming like impossible mountains to climb. Put aside the complete absence of a coherent cultural story about what constitutes a well-lived life with purpose and meaning outside of the marketplace to start with. If our young people are adrift, it's because our society is adrift. But fortunately, what I see, more than despair and drift, is actually determination, creativity, and courage. After all, this is the same generation which is increasingly banding together in solidarity, organizing, forging their own way, forcing corporate bosses, elites, and all of society to adapt to their values rather than accept things as they are. It's the trend that gives me the most hope of anything, that we will find our way through this landscape of bleak choices to one of abundance, purpose, and meaning. And I wonder what you make of it, Sagar, because it is a complex picture. I mean, cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.